Texas lawmakers are cracking down on THC sales. It's May 22nd, 2025, and these are your headlines. After hours of debate last night, lawmakers in the Texas House gave initial approval to Senate Bill 3, legislation that aims to effectively ban the sale of THC-infused products and shut down the growing number of shops selling them across the state. Now, the bill, as passed by the Senate earlier this session, was intended to prohibit THC product sales, shutter existing smoke shops, and prevent new ones from opening. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has been a vocal advocate for that. The rapid expansion of more than 8,000 THC retailers across Texas, he's called that a backdoor marijuana legalization effort driven by legal loopholes. But by the time it reached the floor, however, in the House, the legislation had been modified into not a ban, but a regulatory measure. That prompted Lieutenant Governor Patrick to issue a video plea to House lawmakers on Monday night, urging them to restore the ban. And that effort was led by State Representative Tom Oliverson, a Houston area anesthesiologist who filed a floor amendment to revert the bill back to the Senate's original language. The amendment had more than 50 co-authors when it was pre-filed and was ultimately adopted after, again, hours of debate in an 86-53 vote. The final version of Senate Bill 3 passed the House on a 95-44 vote. It bans the sale of all consumable hemp products, including THC and synthetic and semi-synthetic cannabinoids, while still allowing the sale of non-intoxicating CBD and CBG products and the continued cultivation of industrial hemp. Now, the legislation now heads back to the Senate for final approval of some of the House changes before being sent to the governor's desk. The Texas House has given approval to legislation that would bar local governments from using taxpayer dollars to support women seeking abortions, including those who want to travel out of the state to do so. Senate Bill 33 expands an existing law that already prohibits government funding of abortion providers and their affiliates. This new language would close a loophole exploited by left-leaning cities like Austin and San Antonio, which have used public funds to assist with abortion-related travel and logistics. In recent years, some cities have funneled tax dollars to nonprofit organizations that help women pay for transportation, lodging, childcare, and other costs to obtain abortions outside of Texas. In 2019, Austin approved $150,000 to support these services through organizations like the Lilith Fund and Fund Texas Choice. 2023, San Antonio followed suit. They created a $500,000 reproductive justice fund, which was expanded with an additional $100,000 to cover downstream services that could include out-of-state abortion travel. SB 33 prohibits any governmental entity from entering into contracts or spending money to provide logistical support for abortion, even if those services are delivered in other states. That includes funding for travel, food, lodging, childcare, counseling that encourages abortion, or any other service that facilitates the procedure.
America is at a crossroads. Now, more than ever, Texas must step up and lead the country. We don't have time to mess around. The only way to save America is with a strong Texas. You and I know this, but so do the enemies of life and liberty. Therefore, you and I have no choice but to stand up and fight. I'm Sarah Gonzalez, and to the enemies of liberty, I say, come and take it.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office has announced plans to begin retrieving hundreds of inmates currently housed in out-of-state facilities following a steady drop in the county jail population. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez attributed the decrease to improved efficiency in the local criminal justice system, particularly recent efforts by the Harris County District Attorney's Office to expedite case processing. District Attorney Sean Tier said earlier this year that he would not prosecute nuisance crimes in an effort to reduce jail overcrowding, calling the situation a humanitarian crisis and promising to address the situation one way or another. And more than 340 people have been referred to mental health services instead of being prosecuted. New felony courts and hiring efforts have helped reduce the court backlog and average time spent in jail, according to county officials. Harris County officials have been spending about $54 million per year to house more than 1,200 inmates in private and public jails outside of Texas, primarily in Louisiana and Mississippi. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.